Good afternoon and welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. On a little bit overcast Saturday afternoon in Glasgow today. It's a little bit overcast. That'll be good for the football. Celtic do entertain Hibernian at Celtic Park. It's the first time that we're back in action at Celtic Park since the transfer window closed. And it's going to be an interesting day with obviously the fans having a bit of a demonstration during the first 12 minutes of the game today. What would be your score predictions? Oh, yes. Give me your score predictions in the comments. And it's going to be an interesting game today. Hibernian. I'm just checking the weather. It's not the best weather this afternoon. It is only around about 13 degrees. And a little bit of rain in the air. Could be raining by kick-off. It's not too bad. It's good old Scottish weather, isn't it? Absolutely lovely Scottish weather. When you look at the team news, when you look at the teams coming out, will Brendan Rodgers go with his strongest team? And tell me if you're going to the game today, wet and cold. Yeah, it's just typical. It always used to always get me. It's pissing down already. You spend most of the spring and the summer with half decent weather. Then we get to August, we get to September, and then that's it. We just get absolutely rubbish weather. Paul Cassidy's going for 2-0 Celtic. Get absolutely rubbish weather right throughout the season. And you're thinking, Paul Cassidy's going for 2-0. Give me your score predictions in the comments section. Good to see Big Des and everyone in the house, pouring the rain. Yeah, it's not too bad here. Not too bad at all. Let me just see if there's any other sort of Celtic. Chris Collins talking about the fact that Brendan Rodgers needs to change a position of a player to get the best out of him. I don't think that he will change the position of a certain Dies Maida. I think that you get the best out of Dies Maida through the middle on the left-hand side. I think it would be wrong to put him out on the left-hand side. Flying Column says he would be glad of any victory today. I think it's important to get the victory. 3-0, we'll never let our club die. Hubby's already on his way. She's gone for 2-0. 3-0, Michelle's in the house saying hi guys. One will do, says Mary. Dave Morton says he knocked back 2 tickets. You mental case. I think that we need to keep the winning. We need to keep winning. It's as simple as that. Hearts are right behind us in the league by 1 goal. When you look at the league table, the league table's changed since Celtic last played their last game, hasn't it? It's something that we've never really spoken about because the league table's changed a little bit for the worst for a certain team. Not that we like to. Let me just get this up on the screen. So yeah, the league table has changed since Celtic last played. Rangers are down in 11th position. Rangers are 11th. Hearts are second in the league. They're also on 13 points. With 1 goal less than Celtic. Then it's Dundee United. Then it's Hibernian in 4th position. Hibernian will be trying to keep their 4th position place as intact as possible for as long as possible, and they'll be trying to get some kind of result at Celtic Park today, which means Dave Morton reckons it's going to be a tight game. 3-2. Big Des is going for his usual result at home. 5-0. Michelle was going for 3-2 at the game. Baz Kerrydale Sweet 67's mobbed. I used to love the Celtic. The Kerrydale Suites. I love this Kerrydale Suite. An edge up front from the off. It says T1 get an edge up front. I think the manager will change it, and I think he's going to make a change today, and you'll see Kelechi coming on later on in the game. I think he's going to keep Kelechi more for the Champions League, and done it again, the Europa. I think he'll give Kelechi the Europa. I'll be doing a minute's applause for the poor girl and her father. Thank you, Hoop Dog, from my house today. We're doing a watch along also. So we'll all do that on the 15th minute. 2-1 Celtic. I mean, Celtic have only conceded the one goal this season. They've only conceded the one goal. I think that, I mean, Hibernian, I think it depends how much Celtic really, really want it today. 2-1 Flying Column, 2-1 Hoops, says Ali Boy. Get Hatate and Maida off is my prediction. Yeah, let's hope that they do not start today for the betterment of the club. I mean, I don't like to see players not getting called upon, but I've got a funny feeling that Dyson will start. I think Dyson will start today to give Kelechi a little bit of a breather and keep him as fresh as possible for the midweek game. Because let's face it, the midweek game, I mean, all the games are important at this time of year. And it'll be interesting to see what other games are on today. I'll just check. I haven't even checked the SPFL today. Been far too busy. Fixtures. So the other SPFL fixtures, it's almost a full card today. Celtic Hibernian, it's all 3 o'clock kickoffs apart from Motherwell Aberdeen. That'll be a good game actually, because Aberdeen really need to get their finger out, or I mean, they've come out and said that they're not going to sack the manager. I love it that the teams down the bottom aren't going to sack managers and just keep on fighting. Celtic Hibernian, 3 o'clock kickoff. Dundee United Kilmarnock, that is also a 3 o'clock kickoff. Hearts versus Falkirk. Ooh, a little bit of a grudge match there. That's also a 3 o'clock kickoff. St Mirren versus Dundee. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff. St Mirren doing, you've got to admit, St Mirren are doing well in the league also. Don't know, there's some interesting games there. St Mirren trying to keep their top 6 place. Hibernian. I mean, you look at some of the teams. I mean, the big one for me, Motherwell's drawn. This maybe the one to watch. I'm not going to watch it though, because we're going out for dinner tonight, because it's the hand of God's birthday, and sometimes you need to let them out into the open. But yeah, when you look at the league table and the games that are getting played today, the Motherwell Aberdeen game, the fact that Motherwell have drawn every single game this season. I mean, they've drawn every game. They're on 5 points because they've drawn every single game. But Aberdeen have only drawn 1 and lost 4. I mean, Aberdeen are on -7 goals already. -7. Aberdeen have got big problems, but we don't care, because we're fighting it out with Hearts at the top of the table. Heart of Midlothian at home to Falkirk. So you're thinking that that's going to be a home win for Hearts. I mean, they've only drawn 1 game this season. It's where Falkirk, they've won 1 game, drawn 2 and lost 2. You're saying Falkirk are Hearts. Hearts are going to win today. So Celtic need to win by a number of goals, because God forbid that Hearts jump above us in the league table and get up there with goals. Let me just check about these comments. I'm glad he's off. His passing's woeful. Like he says, the lineup is Casper, Donovan, CCV, Scales, Callum, Benji, Rio, Yang, Maeda, Tanekte. What a terrible team. Let's hope that's not right. I hope that's not the team. Seriously, if that's the team, what is Brendan Rodgers doing? Because that's fucking yang. And I think that Dyson Maeda needs rest up front. But Lanky maybe comes up with the right team. I think Casper should have been dropped. I think Rodgers is bottling it a bit. Paradise Found says. I don't know my thoughts on it. I think that although he's the more experienced keeper, Brendan Rodgers does like to keep a settled back line. He doesn't like changing it too much. But Sinisalo, and talking about cup games, the Scottish Cup has just kicked off today. The first round of the Scottish Cup. Auchinleck Talbot versus Cumnock Juniors. Berwick Rangers versus Nairn County. Bo'ness Athletic versus Keith. Bo'ness United versus Bankerdee. Bonnyrigg Rose versus Broxburn Athletic. That's a boxing match all over it. Jesus, that is going to just... Polos will love that wee day. Civil Service Strollers versus Dundonald Bluebell. Coldstream versus Tayport. Just some of the games. Inverurie Lockworks versus Sochi Juniors. Turriff United versus Halabeath Hawthorn. University even of Stirling versus the Burnt Island Shipyard. I didn't even realise that they were still a team. And Wick Academy versus Rothes. The one that I always love. Forest Mechanics. Is it just me? Is when you hear Forest Mechanics, you're like, fucking. Many mechanics is kicking around Forest. Do you know what I mean? Cowdenbeath versus Ben Hurd. Cumbernauld Colts versus Glasgow University. Johnston Borough versus Threave Rovers. Lossiemouth. Hey. Musselburgh Athletic versus Bonnyton Thistle. And East Stirling, the club that just used to finish at the bottom of the bottom league all the time and nothing would ever happen to them. They just kept on staying bottom of the bottom league for years. Do you know, it was bonkers. They were absolutely woeful, but they could never get relegated. They were always just bottom of the bottom league. Anyway, we do digress. Let's jump back in. John Kennedy, what? Engels Forest, the start for me, says Liam. A lot of people got opposing views. A lot of people saying happy birthday to the hand of God. Thank you for that. I'm seriously confused by Bernardo's lack of game time. Says Perry. It is a strange one, isn't it? Brilliant. Where I live this time of year is good for sea fishing. Temperatures dropping, a lot of fish go closer to land. Says Flying Column. I miss staying in Kirkcaldy because you got all the wee fishing boats going out to catch all the lobsters. Just get loads of lobsters coming in right outside my window. It's mental. We can go 12 point clear. I don't care about 12 point clear against that lot. We've got a title race in it with Hearts. I mean, Hearts are the Aberdeen of last season, and with the owner that they've got in Hearts, pushing them to try and topple Celtic at the top of the league. It's going to be interesting, and they've had a lot of money pumped into them this year as well. So Hearts, and they've got a good boss. You've got to remember, McInnes is a decent boss. I mean, McInnes was good when he was up at Aberdeen. He was, he always had them up there, up or near about with Celtic. McInnes got Aberdeen a good few finals in Brendan Rodgers' first time round as Celtic manager, but we always disposed of the Aberdeen then, just like we do now. But I just think it makes it a little bit better. I mean, I don't like McInnes as a manager. I think the team is out. Schmeichel, Ralston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Scratchy, McGregor, McCowan, Engels, Maeda Tenekte, and Enna and Kalechi. So you were wrong. Oh dear. You were wrong. Maida plays on the wing and Kelechi plays up front. So, I love it when folk come on and say, there's the team, and it's wrong. Always wait till Celtic come out with it. Right, let me just get this team up onto the screen, the official team. And there we go. There we go. I'll just put it right down to there. There is the official team. Schmeichel, Ralston, Carter Vickers, Scales, Marcelo. A certain player has been dropped. McGregor, McCowan. Thank goodness. I called for Luke McCowan to start today, and he has. Arne Engels has also started. Rio Hatate's been dropped. Dyson Maida, he starts on the wing. Tenecte starts on the other side. And Kelechi starts. Kelechi starts up. God, thank God I'm wrong. I'll take it. It's lanky. I did think that but anyway, Sinisalo is on the bench. Let's get that off there so we can get the bench. Sinisalo's on the bench. Benji's on the bench. Bawisha's on the bench. Kenny's on the bench. Paolo Bernardo's on the bench. Dane Murray's on the bench. Young Donovan is on the bench. Tierney's on the bench. And James Forrest is also on the bench. That's a strong bench. That's Hatate and Yang not even on the bench. I wouldn't expect Yang to be on the bench, Michelle. He's woeful. Come on, he's absolutely woeful. Hatate, Brendan Rodgers wouldn't be wanting to risk him at all. He would want to play him in the Europa game during the week. But I think it's a good team. I think it's I called for Luke McCowan. I says this morning, do you know, Luke McCowan's got goals in him for this. This is a Luke McCowan type of game. You know, people will say, look, he's not he gives some people say he gives the ball away. Do you know, well, Rio Hatate gives the ball away just as much. I think that Hatate getting dropped, Engels was in, McCowan's in. I think it's a good one. Don't know how I feel about this team today. No Shin, says Ali. Who do you drop from the bench to get Shin Yamada in? Because you've got Johnny Kenny on the bench. And Shin Yamada is not in the European team. I don't know how Hatate's torn his hamstring. It was a tightening of his hamstring. KT and Hatate injured. I think they're just getting rested. I think rested more than anything. Just going to say Sinisalo's not starting. I'm not too fussy about Sinisalo not starting because I still believe that Brendan Rodgers will give Sinisalo the cup games. I can understand why he's doing it. But when it comes to people saying no Shin Yamada's not in the European team. So Johnny Kenny is. Johnny Kenny will come on today at some point as the striker. Because for me now, that's has got our two guaranteed number one and number two strikers. Kelechi and then Johnny Kenny. Shin Yamada, I don't know where I don't even know if he's going to fit in cup games. He might fit in cup games, but at this point, you're wanting the players that are going to be playing week in, week out to try and get some game time. Hence, Inamura, nowhere near the team. Inamura's not in the Europa squad. Shin Yamada is not in the Europa squad. So they're not going to get on the bench. Brendan Rodgers has to give game time to players that have got the potential of being on the bench or that will be on the bench for the Europa League games. So I can understand why he's made the decisions that he's made. Dane Murray on the bench as well. I think that Cameron Carter-Vickers will see it the majority of this game. And then Dane Murray will get introduced just to get him some game time. And then the rest of the changes will come around the midfield. I think it's good man management by Brendan Rodgers to just pull out Donovan. Do you know, he's not done anything wrong. He's been playing some fantastic games. Brendan Rodgers says, look, he's went from playing B-team football to just going up that level, just stepping up a level, playing for the first team, playing consistently for the first team. He also had the 2 games for Scotland under 21s. And he says, we just need to manage his game time because what you don't want is to knacker the player out. And I think that Celtic, especially now, after seeing what Kieran Tierney went through, to go from the B to sort of go from youth football into the Celtic first team and have such a meteoric rise in the first team and be such an influential player early on in his career has ultimately, has that done damage? And people will say, but young players back in the day, they came in, they played every game. They didn't play 50, 60 games a season. That's the difference. And the intensity, the speed of play wasn't what it was way back then. Can you imagine trying to put Roy Aitken against even Tony Ralston? I think Tony Ralston would take Roy Aitken for 6 pace-wise. But anyway, a different era, a long, long time ago. And you got to remember, back then, players were swigging pints at the weekend after the games and everything, smoking 20 fags a day. And totally different times. Footballers are athletes now, so they have to manage the game time for the younger players for definite. So I think it's a good one. It's good man management by Brendan Rodgers. Kieran Tierney, he's maybe just not... he's not been playing his best. Does he need the little rest? Big Den Donker says it's good team selection. Maybe he's getting minutes into Ralston's legs before next week. Play Ralston for an hour and then sub him. Yeah, I think that's all it is, Lanky. Ralston's been out injured. He's been out injured for a couple of weeks now. You need to get him back up to pace. So it's an ideal game. Pissing the rain in Glasgow. Wet, damp, cold, cloudy. Everything that you want from to put a player in that's just came out back from an injury. But it also just gives young Colby that little bit of rest that I think he needs. McGregor. People will say, well, why not drop McGregor? For me, Rodgers is building Kelechi's confidence as well as his fitness. I don't think it's so much his fitness that he needs. I think it's more game time. I think it is more game time. What's a good fire stick for these Saturday blackout matches? It's just a normal fire stick. If you're... Do you know what? I should get up a link for folk to be able to get an app for fire sticks and then create a private group, because I know one that's really, really well. Celtic TV for the game today. It's not been chosen for TV. No, it's not. Stephen says, just wanting some real effort again from Dyson. I think playing him out on the wing, it will be an interesting, same weather as Akos. Said for weeks we should try Dyson on the right. Looks like it's finally happening today. I'm surprised at it, to be honest. I know that Brendan spoke about it and playing him on the right, but when he's played a lot of his career on the other side, you've got to ask how well it'll work. Bernardo, disrespect is unreal. What the fuck is this boy got to do to get a game? Bernardo, I wouldn't make it a public group. I would make it a private group on one of the apps, and it would be invitation only. It wouldn't be a public thing. Definitely wouldn't be a public thing. I think there is a game plan for Paulo Bernardo, and I think that he is the long-term replacement for Callum McGregor. I think that wait till you get to the end of this season. You've got to remember, over the last couple of seasons, when it gets to the end of the season, Callum's been coming off because of his shins. He's not been... I think that Callum is suffering just with the amount of games he's played over his career. And I don't think that Callum... He's only got 2 years to go on his contract, remember. He does only have the 2 years. When is his contract up? Callum McGregor, Scottish football contract. I'm sure it's the end of next season. Yeah, 2028 it is. Oh, he's got more than that then. McGregor's current contract is a 5-year deal signed on 10th of July 2023, which takes him up until 2028. God, that's all we need. That's all we need. I don't think he'll see it, his contract. till 2028. I mean, 3 more seasons of Callum. If that's the case, I mean, but Callum was always a left-sided midfield player. He played his whole career the left-sided midfield. It's interesting to see that his valuations went way down. I mean, at his height, he was valued at €9 million. He's only valued at €5 million. People would say you'd be lucky to get €2 million for him. But anyway, he's been a fantastic servant for the club. He is the captain of the club, and he's got a few years left in him. So it does make you think. The way Paulo has been treated, he'll probably leave in January. It is, isn't it? It is a weird one. It'll be fine. YouTube won't ban me for fire sticks. They can't ban you for saying it, as long as you're not advertising it. Bernardo isn't even getting subbed on. I wonder if he'll get subbed on today, because I think there's a good chance that Bernardo will get brought on today, because you've got McCowan and Engels on. So maybe it's a bit of a masterstroke by Brendan Rodgers. Give those two game time and then get Bernardo on at some point the second half of the game. Hail from Vietnam, says Ray Ray. Hope you're well, Stephen. Wouldn't be surprised if Paulo went back to Portugal in January. He was rumoured to join Boa-Estiva. It's a weird one, isn't it? I mean, Celtic and Brendan Rodgers went full hog to get him back as a player after having him on loan. Anyway, JGB says he's going to go for 3-0 this afternoon after seeing the scoreline. Now that we have saw the scoreline, if Bernardo leaves, who out our midfielders can play McGregor's role? Nobody. That's the issue. That is the issue, is that there's not really... I don't even think that Paulo Bernardo, even he doesn't play the position as well as Callum McGregor. And people say this every season. They say, you said it last season. The amount of people were saying Callum McGregor needs dropped. And then remember, Callum McGregor was out for 3 weeks injured last year. And we were woeful in midfield. And then everyone was like, right, okay, fuck, we need Callum in midfield. He's the best that we've got in that position. Anyway, is McGregor doing any coaching badges that won't him stick around? Not yet. He's got 3 years left on his contract. It's not time for him to do coaching badges yet. But I don't think that his fitness will see him going through another 3 years. I hope I'm wrong. I am wrong, because I think that everyone said the same about Scott Brown when Brendan Rodgers came in. They all said that Scott Brown's not got the legs for it. Scott Brown's legs is gone. Do you know? And Scott Brown played the holding midfield role really well. Do you know? People could say that he was almost as good as Neil Lennon in the position, and stopping play, keeping an eye on things. And maybe Callum's just taking time. I mean, he's had a few seasons to adjust now, and you would be thinking, come on, Calmac, you're 4 seasons into this position. You should really be dominating the midfield now. And there was a time that he was dominating the midfield, but then he was getting man-marked in games. And people need to remember that. There's a lot of time in Scottish football that people were like, right, let's man-mark Callum McGregor, right? Boom, you man-mark Callum, and you take McGregor out of the game, and the midfield goes a-missing. So Brendan Rodgers goes at the beginning of this season, right, we're going to have 2 number 8s. We're going to bring in, and we're going to put Benji in as the number 8 beside Callum. But then he went back to a 4-3-3 and totally changed it all. So I think that the manager, but then again, the manager will say, well, it's because we didn't get players in different positions that were in this predicament. So there's a lot of passing the buck still going around with Celtic. Matt Stoddart says 2-0. 3-1 for us, says Lanky. Hibs to score first. Can't remember any game Bernardo has let us down. No, he's not. He's not. And Do you know, I still go back to the fact that if it wasn't for Paulo Bernardo, we'd never have won the Scottish Cup final that year. Pope is in the house. I've said this season, drop Casper, CZV, Callum, play Shim, Murray and Paulo. Yeah. I think that will happen more cup games, mate. It will definitely happen in cup games. Don't drop McGregor, rest him. I think McGregor will come off the second half of the game. I'd have Bernardo over Engels. Calmack needs dropped his pish. Say CV or Scales header. Ooh, Scales is turning into a real powerhouse for us. Yeah, he is. And I'm glad. I am seriously glad, because Scales went through last season and with the old pulling his shirts things and arms all over players, and it cost us goals. You know, there was times he cost us free kicks, he cost us goals, and he keeps on just upping his game, and he's done it every single season now for what, for 3 years. This is his third season, where he was on the verge of going back to, you got to remember though, that was 3 years ago that he was on the verge of joining Aberdeen. And he just keeps plugging away. And, do you know, I hope there's other players look at Scales here and go, do you know what? And the manager, a great bit of respect for the manager to put the trust in him. How can Callum dominate the midfield when he's only holding midfield against 4 opponents? Yeah, that's what I've said before, mate. He needs... When you look at the way that we've played before, we always played with a near enough a 2 in the holding midfield role, and I think that we need to go back to that. But as I'm sure you say, Bernardo was a long-term replacement for Calmack. Yeah, he was, but Calmack's still got 3 years left on him. He's still got 3 seasons after this, and I don't think Paulo Bernardo will stick around. The club can have a plan, but there will become a time that a player might just go, do you know what, I need to be playing football. And Paulo Bernardo's at that age. You know, Paulo Bernardo will get dropped from the under-21 Portugal team because of his age this year or next year. And he'll no longer be playing international football. So he needs to make the next level up. He needs to take the next step in his career. And if you've been under-21 captain of Portugal, you know, that means that the Portuguese hierarchy are thinking, this guy's got it to just take, if his career goes in the right path, he's got it what it takes to get into the first Portuguese team. Do you know, there are a number of players that will be retiring over the next couple of years, so positions will open up in the Portuguese national team. If Paulo Bernardo's not playing week in, week out, and he remains at Celtic, and Callum McGregor still overlooks Paulo, if Callum ups his game, do you know? But anyway, Callum needs Paulo or Arne alongside him, and then we can dominate our game. Yeah, but we've went and put Benji in that position, which I think was weird. I don't know, maybe Paulo's not doing something in training. Told you Baz before, Big Scales is Irish Maldini. Fuck's sake, Baz, just he's a guy reading in the news. I'm not on the booze, just beer with Scales, better than CCV. Yeah, this is true. Bernardo's another 6 wasted million by Rodgers. The Irish Maldini. I don't think it's wasted. We only paid 3 million for him. Mo. So it's not 6 million wasted by Rodgers. We only paid 3.5 million for him. But then you have people complaining. You pay 3.5 million for a player, and Bernardo and Engels will be top players, not for Celtic though. The Scottish League doesn't suit them. Italian, German League will be best for them. The Spanish League, I think both would be well in the Spanish League, Portuguese League. Big shout out to Ferno, Super Chat. Let's hope that Maida ups his game today. Can he up his game today? Can Dyson get the goals that is needed for Celtic today? Score prediction times. I am going to go with my score prediction today. Celtic. I'm going to go Celtic 3, Hibs 1. Celtic 3, Hibs 1. I'm having a pint of Budweiser and a doob, says Big Des. Aye. Michelle says she needed something to wake her up or she's going to miss the game. I don't understand how he's not even getting subbed, but he's in the squad every week. Because Callum McGregor tends not to be the worst player in the midfield. We've got other players that Brendan Rodgers is saying, do you know what? You could sub any one of these players. Paul Bear's going for 3 now. Poach Job says Scales presses the wrong time, gets caught behind players running off him. He's slow at distributing the ball. Sometimes he is and sometimes he isn't. Gets done on the left side too often. Yeah, he's a star right enough. Like Des is going for 5 now. The Hoops. I think that Scales is one of these players that when you overthink things, when you take too long with the ball, and you take more than one step with the ball at your feet. And Scales is one of those players that as soon as he takes 2 or 3 steps with the ball, his mind wanders. Rather than just being instinctive. And Brendan Rodgers has spoken about this on many occasions. Sometime or too passive. And I think that Scales is sometimes that player that something just happens in his head and he becomes that passive and it slows the game down, and then it has the nervous effect on everyone else, and he looks and he doesn't see any movement. Now Scales will turn around and say, well, I can only pass to someone that's in space in front of me. The players in front of me need to make space for themselves. Callum McGregor's got 2 players sitting around him. If Callum McGregor's there and he's got 2 players up here, he's not going to pass it to Callum McGregor because he thinks I'm going to put Calmac under pressure. So he maybe does pass it to Calmac. Calmac then passes it to Cameron Carter-Vickers. And you're thinking, do you know what? That's just a passing it side to side shite thing. So maybe it's a formation change that's needed by Brendan Rodgers to get the likes of Scales to go, right, 1 touch, forward pass, out to the win. It'll be good to see Marcelo play today, because hopefully Scales will turn around and he'll go, right, Marcelo's going to be there. Boom. Kick it out there, get it moving quick, fast, and get the game picking up a bit. We never do good after the European game. 1-1. Don't say that, because if it is 1-1, Hearts will go top of the table today. And I don't want that. James is going for 3-1 Celtic. Paul is going for 3-1. As usual, 3-1. Same. Hibs first goal. A draw in the first half. 4-1 Celtic. 2-0 Celtic. 2-0 Celtic. I thought Scales was going to drop the nut in that Belgrade forward. Yeah, so did I. You know, like, fucking show you. That horseshoe shite is Brendan Rodgers' tactic. Ralston. Oh. Calmac needs to lift his head up and pass forward to Dyson. I don't think that's really... Calmac's more to either pass it out to the wings or to pass it to the 2 midfielders that are in front of him that are meant to be attacking. Pete says it's going to be 3-0 Celtic. Big Ian, first goal. Big Ian who? Need to concentrate on set pieces and corners for the big defender, Rocky. I think that Arnie Engel starting today should be better for the corners. Arnie Engel, for me, is the better corner taker compared to Benji. So I think that when you look at the goals, it'll be interesting to see how many goals we've scored from Arnie Engel's corners compared to Benji corners. Because I do think that Arnie Engel's delivery is quite a little bit... It's a little bit better. Stephen says, just win today with no injuries, will be a good day. Ian Nacho. Jesus, don't make up names for him, big Ian Nacho. Just call him Kelechi. Call him Kells, like what the manager does. Currently a solid 20 million away for Kasper. Dohan doing a big... Why did someone mention Big Ian on the plane? Bottle of Buckfast. Jesus, you're all on it today, aren't you? Anyway, right. Who do you think will be man of the match today? I think Kelechi will be man of the match. Yeah, I think Kelechi will get man of the match today. Tierney out. We need to talk about Tierney. And the manager never said anything about Tierney being injured. And maybe it was just to freshen things up. I mean, Kieran's not been at his best. He's not been at his best, is it? It's not been at his best. So maybe that's the reason that Kieran Tierney is been dropped today. Because he's not even on... He is on the bench. Tenecte man of the match. Yeah, Tenecte or Kelechi to be man. Scales man of the match, says Paul. Scales man of the match. Tenecte man of the match again. I think it's... we'll just wait and see, because it's not going to be the best footballing conditions. You know, pissed the rain, howling wind. It's just typical Scotland, isn't it? What will be interesting to see, hopefully the fans do give a good reaction on the 15th minute to young Charlie Reid eating a nacho. Irishman and Porter's in the house after all, just driving home after filming Braga under 19s. They have gone tits up. So there we go. Paulo Bernardo will not get any more international football. He's too old for the under-21s now. That's going to be an interesting one, what he does with his career then. 4-0 says Scotty Boy. 4-0, that's a good result. I think that's achievable. We're going to have to score goals today, because there's one thing for sure. Hearts will score goals at home. Man of the match, the 12th man. Don't get the hype regarding Tenecte. McCowan, man of the match. I don't think that Luke will stay on for the full 90 minutes. I don't think that he'll stay on for the 90 minutes. I think Luke will be on until around about the 65th minute, and then Brendan will make some changes. And I think he'll bring on Paulo Bernardo today for the captain, Callum McGregor. I think you could see Callum McGregor being brought off in around about the 75th, 80th minute, and then Bernardo coming on then. Donovan, Tierney, will they get some game time later on? I would rather just keep them for the Europa. Keep it. Do you know, there's no need to bring Tierney on today. There's no need to bring young Colby Donovan on unless Ralston starts to feel, but Ralston shouldn't feel it. Ralston's experienced enough to come back after a little injury and play 90 minutes surely, but then again he was on a moon boot and everything, so we'll wait and see. Max says it's going to be 4-0 the Hoops today. We are due a big scoring game. I've seen some people call Tenecte Tinky. Jesus God, how many minutes into the game until Big Rav starts moaning? Oh, that's the watch along. Make sure you watch the watch along. Oh, jeez. Scotty Boy says, rest in peace, Charlie Reid. Yeah, it has been confirmed that the Hibs fans will help with the Eddie. It's a new thing from YouTube. I don't know why there's ads on it, because the ads automator is switched off. I'm sitting watching it here and there's no ads on. So it's YouTube just getting their most for their buck now. Typical Google. Got to remember it's owned by Google. So they've got to make as much money as they can. Paul says 3-0, Kelechi and Dyson to score. Tonight is only going to get better. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why people are complaining about players that are only in the door 2 minutes. Penalty to Hibs today. Bowie or Doyle to score. If Bowie scores today, what it will do is it will relight the chat. Now remember, Celtic were interested in Bowie, but Celtic were told under no circumstances are we selling Bowie this summer. It'll be interesting to see if Celtic do go back for Bowie in the next window or next year, next summer. That's a long way off. We've got a full season of football to play, so let's just concentrate on that. The worst people at the match today will be the board, and they'll know all about it. 4-0 bars today, says Mick. McCown to score and an assist to get man of the match. I could definitely see him scoring. Lanky's going 6-1. I reprieve was Ralston is right back. Bomb scare. Ralston's a bomb scare. The game doesn't start until Paul Baird says sack Brendan. That'll be on around about the 12-minute mark. It's that drizzly rain. It's not too windy. That shouldn't be too bad then. Michelle says the referee is Don Robertson as the ref, and Steve McLean is on VAR. Great use of the squad today for the front three. Spot on for me. Yeah, I think it has. I think it's a good use of the squad by Brendan. Dropping a couple of players. Obviously, Rio Hitati not being risked at all, keeping him out. Dropping Tierney, he's not been as effective as a lot of people would have liked. Maybe giving him that rest. He played his first full game for Celtic just last week, and there's no use risking him. You know, he was brought back for the big moments, the big European games, and maybe Brendan's thinking, yeah, you just need drop. There's no use risking him. We've got a player that is more than capable, even though he's just on loan. Stick Rambo bandana and Ronaldo. It's scared the shit out of them. Scotty says he's not getting ads. Yeah, it depends. It's probably if you're watching it on a television. If you're watching it on a television, you'll be getting ads because YouTube and Google know how many people are watching on television. So if you're watching it on a TV, you're probably getting ads that way. 5-0. Oof, 5-0. That's a big scoreline. But we do have a big scoreline. The Hun, Don Robertson, defo penalty for Hibs. Odds slashed on Potter to replace Brussels. It's okay, I'm on the sauce. Paul Bear's laughing. He's just waiting on that moment to say, fucking get Rodgers to... Oh, Jesus. Nice scarves. How's that? There's other ones kicking about somewhere. Where are they? Packed away, I think. Yeah, I think I packed them away. McGregor been off it for a while. I would have played Bernardo. Oh, I don't think he's been off it for a while. I just think that hope Kalmark scores. The two opposing comments. It is the case. I mean, a lot of people we're going over old ground here. A lot of people were saying Kalmark was off it last season, and then when he's out injured for 3 weeks, we're woeful through the midfield, and then he comes back and everybody goes, right, okay, we need him. Don't worry, I'll be there in spirit, says Lanky. Baz, do a poll, how many people not buy merch? We'll do it when there's... I could do a quick poll. It'll be interesting to see what the Celtic Superstore... there is only a few hundred on. There we go. We'll do a quick poll, see how many people are buying merch. It'll be interesting to see what the Celtic Superstore is like today. Usually on a game day, Celtic Superstore's mobbed. Absolutely mobbed. We should really get the Facebook up, because if anyone is at the game and they want to take a little video for the... I'll just get this up. If you want to take a little video and post it to me on Facebook, if you're on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, you can go on to Twitter, and you could send me it via Twitter also. Be interesting just to see how many people are actually entering the Celtic Superstore and buying merchandise, because there's usually quite a lot. You got to say people coming over for Ireland and stuff and travelling from afar. This is usually the day that they go in and they spend money with Celtic. It'll be interesting to see how many are not. No ads for me. Yeah, it's generally if you're watching on the telly, there's ads. How many people are not buying Celtic merch? There's been just under 50 votes already. 81% saying not buying. 19% are saying buying. Interesting. It's very divisive. It's what I am seeing is that the whole against the board thing, whilst it's coming across as a majority of fans, it's not a complete majority. I am seeing a lot of people that are obviously against anything against the board. But that was always going to happen. So I respect everyone's view on whether or not they agree or disagree with stuff that's going on. Don't have Facebook or Twitter or any other platform, says Lanky. You used to. Have you got rid of it all? You got rid of all your social media, Lanky. I've got over 40 Celtic tops and own branded stuff. Jesus, I've just packed all my Celtic tops away. It's in a massive box. Spending nothing at the ground on any matches this season. Celtic tops and Marmaris, £8. Baz watching on a TV and no ads. Well, there you go, Scotty boy. I don't know how some folk are getting ads. I think it depends. If you get ads, you tend to get ads. Google knows and YouTube knows who watches ads and who doesn't, and they tend to target people that do obviously watch a lot of ads. I brought a baby outfit from your grandson. Other than that, not buying merch. Would you really buy fake Celtic tops? I wouldn't buy fake stuff. Not a fake Celtic top. McGregor needs to get his finger out his arse today. He's been rank. I just hope we beat Hibs, because I've got a few mates that are Hibs fans back home, and they have nothing better than send me a wee message going, "You're fucking shite." But anyway, with 60 votes in, I didn't think we get a lot of votes because a lot of people are out and about. There has been just over 1,950 people on the live. 20% are buying merch, 80% are not buying merch. It'll be interesting to see how many at the game actually. I'm going to... I've just messaged somebody that's going to the game to try and get me some footage of the Celtic Superstore and see how busy it is. Hopefully some of the other podcasts that go to the game will be able to show us. John Paul Murray says, don't have Facebook, a lot of shite. Yeah, it is. I just use social media for keeping in touch with family back home, really. That's the only thing it's good for. I think it's a bit harsh saying Calmac is rank. Yeah, he's always missed. He's always missed when he doesn't play. Right, what players do you think will come on in the second half? I'm going to go for Bernardo, Murray and Forrest. I think that Bernardo will come on in the midfield to let Callum McGregor get a little bit of a rest. The humidity's just went through the roof here. Hey, shut that window. I think Dane Murray will come on for Cameron Carter-Vickers, just to give him a little bit of game time. I heard the Union Bears buy fakes. They buy fake Celtic stuff to then say that they ripped it off. A lot will be seated now, no single. A lot will be seated now, Michelle. It's only 25 past. There'll be about 3,000 or 4,000 in the ground at 25 past. Maximum. It's only now that it's between now and 1:45 that they kind of start leaving the pubs and then up. But then again, if it's raining, a lot of folk might be just going, fuck it, let's just get into the ground. Get into the ground. Have you seen how much Celtic Storm Barras charge for vintage tops? Nah. Des, I've got tops. I've still got Celtic tops that have got the price tags on it. I've never even wore them. I've bought them and just hung them up beside the rest, and not worn them once. And that's going way back to the mid-90s. I've got tops. In fact, I gave the missus an Umbro top yesterday, an old Umbro training top. Signal is terrible. Yeah, it's always terrible. Bernardo, Kenny, Benji and Forrest to come on. That's a good start. Why is Benji not starting? Because Luke McCown's starting, and I think that Luke needs a little bit of game time, and I think that Luke's more than capable in a game like this. I think that this is the kind of game that Luke will shine, to be honest, and it's a good use of the team. You know what? We're playing 3 games a week now, so it is about rotating the squad, especially on the weekend games. I'd be squeezing another 3 Guinness in, but this is true. Hear it when you're drinking the Black Bull. You've got all the way round to walk. But then if you're in the Oak, do they sell Guinness in Oak? Morning from San Francisco. Scott's up and coming in from San Francisco. He's doing that just to show off now, isn't he? Got his cigar and stuff. Yang will sub his cell phone. Yeah, this is true. But Mick's just had his bucky stolen for his Doug. Benji, Angie, Paolo, Johnny and Colby all on in the second half. That's an interesting one. I'm not sure you're maybe right with the Colby one, because first game back, managers tend not to put a player in for 90 minutes. You know, give Ralston to the 60th minute and say, right, that's enough. Don't want to overexert you. We've got a young player that's more than capable. Get him on. Yang's recharging his batteries with his missus for Wednesday. Gee, boom, boom. Just let's 6:30 a.m. 6:30 a.m. and he's waiting on a cab to go to the Abbey Tavern for a 7 a.m. kickoff. That I just love that. I love it. I'm just glad to stay a bit out of the world where I'm only an hour behind. An hour in front. You know, it's only 6:30 in the morning. Jeez. Do you know who's let us down today? A friend in New York. A friend in New York's let us down today. I heard Yang. Come on, Lanky. I don't think it's just Lawwell that's going to get. I don't really talk about it, but I think Dermot has to be at the game today. Surely, that's dedication, mate. It is, isn't it? It is. Hail from Norway. It's fantastic. I can remember when a mate of mine stayed in America, from Kirkcaldy. He moved over with his family and his missus, moved to Baltimore, moved to the shipyards in Baltimore to work. And I mean, they used to get up crazy times. I mean, if it's an early game, you're up at crazy o'clock. And the thing is, you treat it like you do back home. You get straight on the bevy. I mean, what other sport in the world do you move abroad and you still keep following your team? And even if it's the game starts at 12 o'clock at night, if it starts at 4 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, there's Celtic fans popping open a tin of beer or sitting in a bar and getting a drink. And I just think that it's great. I love it. And it's just, you can take people away from Scotland and away from Celtic, but you can never take Celtic away from us. And you can never take away that, there's nothing better than hearing a wee swally watching the football. Although I'll not be having one today because I'm driving tonight. Dermot won't be at the game. He's in New York. Yesterday he was at the Ryder Cup. Well then. There we go. He'll be at the Ryder Cup, not giving a hoot. I'll leave for LA tomorrow. Looking at my next stop for the game next week. Oh yeah, Michelle, you did. I don't know where the golf's taking place. The only time I see golf on my timeline is when Scott Brown's putting some golf on his Instagram. That's the only time I see golf. It's when Brownie's sitting at home watching it, or he's playing it and he's got somebody filming him. That's the only time that I see golf in any of my timeline. I've got family in Canada that watches the One Celtic Fan View replays. Big up them. Baz, go along with Celtic family. 7-0 win. Can we get a big win? We never really get big wins at this time of the season. It's always about December, isn't it? Before we get our big time. And it never used to be like that. We used to be able to dismantle teams and score a barrel load of goals. When you look at the league today and you look at the fact that Hearts are playing Falkirk, I mean, how many are Hearts going to stick past Falkirk at home? I think Hearts might win 2 or 3-0 today. If they do that, and then Celtic win 1-0, 2-0, there's a possibility that Hearts could go top of the table by 1 goal if they win 3-0. But hopefully they don't. Hopefully that Celtic can do it. And then tomorrow you've got Livingston versus the Rangers. And then that takes us into October. It does take us into October. There may be issues around the European game next week. It's looking like I won't be doing a watch along unless I set my phone up in a pub. But I can't see it happening. But anyway, that's it. I see Shanklin scoring a hat-trick. I think that maybe no, 7 would be magnificent. Yeah, that's 7. Do you think we could score 7 today? Just been up to the Calgary CSC. I think they share it with the Huns. He'll Baz offer a cup of tea. Mind I lived in Melbourne, going down to the Celtic Supporters Club at 3 a.m. to watch games. I think that's where Chop Shop is. I think he's still down Melbourne way. Quite a few Irish guys have moved over that way. Ex-Green Brigade. Scott will be happy with a 2-0 win today. I'd be happy with a 2-0. But as long as we win, as long as it's not a 2-1 or something silly like that, 2-0 would be fine as long as Hearts don't score more than 3. If Hearts score more than 3, they'll go top of the league. And this is when you've got all this mathematical play that's going to... I know that long term, Hearts will run out of steam at some point. I can't see... Maybe Hearts will go on a bit further than Aberdeen did last season. I love the Irish community over here. It's massive. That's why do you think I stay where I do, mate? There's a massive Irish community over here. And an even bigger one where I'm moving to. Hearts are on draw today. 1-1 or 2-2. Ooh. 1-1 or 2-2. Hat-trick. Kelechi 5-0. Kelechi hat-trick would be fantastic. I mean, Brendan Rodgers is convinced that he's going to be better than another player that used to. I remember going to the Singapore Celtic Supporters Club. That was a crazy night. Gets players like he's done for Brighton. Hearts will definitely get a solid chance. Anyway, right, what time is it? It is 3:35 Central European time, 2:35 Celtic points time. As long as we get 3 points, Hearts will choke. I'm not too sure. Time to let Celt88 back in the chat. He's not banned, is he? He's not banned. Don't think anyone's banned. I'll check though, but I don't think he's banned. Where are you moving to, Baz? It's a big secret. I'll let you know next week. Further south to a big Irish part of. Yes, somebody asked where I'm moving. The empty shelves are starting to give it away. Yeah, I'm moving to where the missus always dreamed of living. Always dreamed of living. Anyway, right, I'm away to get ready for the live watch along. Make sure you join me for that. If you aren't going to the game today, have an absolutely fantastic day. And it's going to be interesting to watch today. On that note, have a fantastic day, Celtic fans, wherever you are, because I know that you're all around the world. It's brilliant.